Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Sleepover. I'm your host, Charli, and today we're joined by my friend Rachel, who you may recognize if you're a longtime listener from Knock Before Entering.
Yes.
And this episode is exciting and special because it is our 1 year anniversary of being a podcast.
Woohoo!
So woohoo! We have this is I invited Rachel on, and then I realized it was going to be the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
And then she came up with more of a plan than I've had for the podcast maybe ever.
I had a lot of free time. Okay. I had a lot of time to think.
Anything else you want me to start for your introduction? Did I miss anything?
No, I mean, no, but I don't, I mean, I know Charli from college.
Yes.
So that's how we're friends.
Yes. In fact, in college, people could not tell the difference between us in several occasions. They thought we were the same person.
Yes. Like my coworker legitimately walked up to Charli one time and had a full conversation with her while Charli was just like, I have no idea what's going on. And then my coworker was like, oh my gosh, you're not Rachel. And was super embarrassed and just left, like without saying anything else. Do you remember that?
Vaguely, yes. I remember several occasions. Like the thing that I remember about that experience is that a lot of people will be like, call me Rachel or call you Charli, or just like it happened so frequently that it was not a shock to me.
It did, and it was weird, and I think a lot of people knew me because I worked for the school newspaper for a little while, so I would like interview people, and you have to like interview tons of people, not just your friends, and so I would like get to meet lots of random people and interview them, and then so people around campus just kind of knew who I was, and then you came after I had started, and then I guess we kind of had the same-ish glasses. But I think
I truly just think it's that we had the same glasses.
It's really the same glasses and facial blindness.
Yeah, we both had dark hair, glasses, and I don't know. I've got a big nose. You have
me too.
A big nose too. I think that's just it.
That's about it. But it's a problem I've had a lot in my life of like I get a lot of like, oh my gosh, you look just like so and so, and it could be any woman with brown hair and a nose and maybe glasses. Like it's so many. I have a huge list that I used to get all the time. It's weird.
Well,
and more than one friend too. You're like one of 3 or 4 friends that the same thing has happened with.
I remember so if you are a longtime listener and are my friend, or you send me a message on the website, like I will send you merch. That's just a part of who I am. So Rachel's been a long time listener, and she texted me when some stickers came out, and I sent it to her, and on it I put twin face, and my husband, as I was taking it to the mailbox, he's like, who is twin face? And I was like, you met her before.
Yeah, because it came to your wedding reception. Yeah, and so that was the same. My kids got the mail that day, and they were like, who's your twin, Mom? You didn't tell us you had a twin. And I was like, I don't. And I tried to explain, and they were just really confused.
That's funny. Yeah, you came to my randomly to my wedding reception because you were randomly living in Colorado at the time.
Yes,
and I was not going to have a wedding reception in Colorado. However, one of my grandparents died shortly, like the day after my wedding, and so that allowed for bereavement pay and stuff, and it was in Colorado. So my family put together just like a reception, essentially like a dinner situation. We're like, invite anybody you want. And so we had like 4 days off to go to the funeral, and And then in between that, we had a wedding reception, and I was like, okay, another excuse to wear this dress that I like.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yes. Anyway, so that randomly the universe put it all together, and then
I
I
know.
like posted on my Instagram as we were driving to Colorado, and you were like, I live in Colorado. I was like, what? That's crazy.
Oh, that's right. I, like, couldn't even remember how I found out about it. I was like, I just knew that it was happening somehow, and I knew it was not, like, planned for a long time, and I got the address, and we just showed up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was at my some of my family lives in like a old I think it was a hotel at one point, but now it's like an apartment complex and mostly older people live there. And so
Oh.
it was like in the basement of that.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense because it was in my mind, I'm like, it was the basement of somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like like a building. It was decorated, it looked nice, but I was like, it yeah, that it reminded me of, like, an apartment, like a what do they call them?
Like
A common
clubhouse, common
clubhouse,
room.
common area,
Yeah.
like the thing you can rent if you live at the place.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Alright. Aw.
Anyway, how was your
Uh,
week? What have you been up to?
my week was good. I wrote notes because some whenever people when people ask you what you did with your week, you're like, "I don't know, I just did my life
Life.
things." Um, but I made sourdough for the first time this week,
Ooh, that's fancy.
and that was very fancy, um,
Did you
and it
get
turned
your
out
own
really good.
starter or
I got a starter I got a starter from a friend, and it's actually, like, older than she is. It's, like, from the '80s
mm,
sometime, and it, sorry, my brain just blanked because my laptop just told me it's, like, not plugged in, but I plugged it in. Anyway, sorry. Sorry.
that's
Sorry,
okay.
guys. Sorry.
Everybody
So,
knows we don't edit. It's fine.
I know, it's just that happened. So it's a potato flake starter, so it's not like a super sour sourdough, it's really
Mm-mm.
sweet. You add, like, mashed potato flakes and sugar to it once a week to feed it, and I've had it for a while, maybe like a month, and this is the first time I actually made bread with it. I've kind of just, like, fed it and then thrown it back in the fridge. It's one you can keep in the refrigerator, so you don't have
Hmm.
to, like anyway, it seems a lot less stressful. I don't know. I mean, like, if my friend's mom's kept it alive for almost 40 years, like, it has to be easy, right?
It has to be, right?
Anyway, the bread was really, really good. It's like the best sandwich bread, and it's really moist and, like, doesn't 'cause I don't know how what your experience is with homemade bread, but for me, if I make it, it's really good, like, that day, and then the next
Yeah.
day, it's kinda, like,
It
crumbly,
gets, yeah.
falls
Hmm.
apart. Yeah,
That's my
this stayed,
experience.
like, nice and squishy and, like, it's still good, and I made it Thursday, and it's still great on today's Sunday.
Well, that's
I don't know. I'm a fan.
impressive.
I'm a fan. I'm very impressed. I'm a fan.
That's
So I'm
better
gonna
than
try to
anything
keep
I
doing
could do with baking. I am not good at baking. I really, really try to make bread, and
that. So,
I
what
it normally doesn't come out that great.
yeah, it does I feel like bread yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a bread maker either, so I was impressed that this worked, but
Um,
I
I
have a bread
did
machine.
I did make cookies this week because I went to a cookie party and I had um a epiphany about humanity and cooking versus
Yes.
baking. Would you like
Yes,
to
tell
hear
me
it?
about this. Yes, I am so interested because my sister and I have had I don't know if it's the same epiphany you've had, but I have talked about this and I'm very intrigued.
So I think that okay, I am horrible at baking,
Yeah.
but I'm good at cooking. And I
Yeah.
think that there are people out there that are good at baking. And if you think about all the people that are good at baking and what kind of attributes those people have, and then the kind of people that are good at cooking and what kind of attributes those people have, I think people that are good at baking are good at like being precisely accurate at like following coloring within the lines and following rules and like have very like structure, and they're like the kind of people that have like their entire lives mapped out on the refrigerator, and you can see everything when it's like coming up and all the things. So
Yes.
I think that that is a baker. And then I think cookers are the people that like they can like, oh, let's just sprinkle this thing in here, and the recipe is never quite the same and you can't like reproduce it ever, but you know that like it's going to be good every time because they could just like kind of go on the fly and be resourceful and be like, hey, we don't have milk, all right, we'll figure out how to substitute XYZ and it's going to come out good. So I've decided that I'm a cooking kind of person in the kitchen and not a baking kind of person. And that is why I brought no bake cookies to the
Yes,
cookie party.
because that's cooking, like, you cook those.
Yes.
It's not it's a baked good that is actually cooked
Hmm.
on the stovetop. Yes, I love
Yes.
those.
So
I
I didn't have milk. So I just like was like, well, I have my milk was expired. I thought I had it, but it was not. And so I put cream in it and just like flew by the seat of my
delicious.
pants and it was fine.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so you had this
I
conversation with your sister?
Yes, and similar thoughts, similar thoughts. I do think because baking is basically science. You
Hmm.
have to be able to precisely do whatever the recipe says, because if you get the ratios wrong, it will not turn out like a scientific experiment. You have to weigh, like when I bake, I use a scale
Hmm.
and I weigh everything. Um, and then like I'm more of a baker. I really like to bake. I do enjoy cooking as well, but I'd rather bake. And I was a biology major when I was in college, and it just I'm not a very organized person. Like you're outlining. I do substitute things and like fly by the seat of my pants a lot, but I enjoy like the I don't know, like the precision of the thing,
The
like
rigidity.
no,
Maybe it's more about control than like
maybe,
being in control of the situation and making
yeah.
sure that it's
Yeah,
um
well, and like just the to me, it's so interesting the science of like why the ingredients work together and how when you
mhm.
change one thing, how it changes the whole end result.
I can't handle that. It stresses me out.
Yeah, and like my sister's more of a cook. She's an excellent cook. Her food is really good, but it's just kind of like she knows what tastes good. She knows what seasonings to put on things. Um, and like cooking's not completely void of science. Like, I feel like, you have to use a thermometer to make sure your meat's the right temperature so you don't give people food poisoning, or at least I
Well,
do. I stress out about that.
yeah, I
Like
do.
a
I
lot.
worry about that too. I
Yeah.
read Twilight.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, it's been so long since I read Twilight.
yeah, but every time I think about undercooked meat, that's what I think about.
Ugh.
Ugh.
It
Um,
goes.
I but so the thing
Yeah.
that like helped me be a better cook is I watched this Netflix docu-series called Fat, Salt,
Acid
Acid.
heat?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that helps me understand a little bit more of like the science of how like
Yes.
the things together make it better. And
Yes.
so as long as I realize that I have a fat, a salt, and an acid in my meal, it usually pans out okay.
Yes. Did you know so that I haven't watched the Netflix series, but I'm assuming it's starring Samin Nosrat? Is that she's like a
You're
Persian lady?
I watched it like 5 years ago, so
Okay,
probably
sorry.
yeah.
Anyway, she's like a really famous chef person, and I have her cookbook, which it's the same title, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, and it's like
Hmm.
she goes into all the things, and it's beautifully illustrated. It's a very pretty cookbook. There's not like food pictures. It's like an illustrator drew all these pictures.
Mm,
And so there's like one
nice.
page, it's just like a whole chart of like po hard-boiled eggs and like how long you boil them and what the yolk would look like.
Hmm.
Because sometimes you want the soft yolk and sometimes anyway, um, it's beautiful, and I've been meaning to like cook my way through it. Mostly I've just kind of like looked up a recipe here and there. But the other thing, that same lady has a podcast with
Mm.
her friend whose name is Rishikesh Hirway. Um, it's called Home Cooking, and they don't have a ton of episodes, and it's kind of old because it was like a pandemic project that they did, but they're
Hmm.
hilarious, and it has really interesting information about cooking and food science and like
Mm, I'm gonna look that
recipes,
up.
and you really should. It's so, so funny. Also, like, well, it's funny to me. Do you like puns?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of puns and it makes me laugh. And like the two hosts kind of like joke with each other. It's like listening to siblings
Yeah.
just
Well,
tease
I
each
like
other.
it.
It's very
I
funny.
like it. I'm gonna look it up. Let's
Yes, you
see.
should, especially if you liked
I
the
liked the
like
Netflix documentary, so
you
of
will
course I'm gonna
probably
like
like
that.
the podcast. Yes, it's excellent.
Well, the party that I went to was a cookbook party.
Uh-huh.
So everybody brought cookies,
Uh-huh.
some to eat and some to share,
Oh, that's awesome.
and then a cookbook that was wrapped.
Okay.
And then we were supposed to wear ugly sweaters, but I don't have an ugly sweater, so I just wore a sweater. Um,
I also don't have any ugly sweaters.
so there was a ugly sweater contest, and then you could eat cookies, and there was charcuterie,
Ooh.
and so then everybody for the cookbook game or whatever, everybody got like a number, and the first person got up and unwrapped their cookbook, and then you could like steal the cookbook, but it could only be stolen once. um
Okay.
and
It's like a white
then
elephant,
yeah,
but
like
just
white
cookbooks.
elephant, but just cookbooks, and then at the end everybody could trade if they wanted to.
Aw.
And I really liked the book that I got first, but then it got stolen.
No.
And then I got ironically a cookie cookbook, which I'm not good at
You're
baking.
not gonna
So
use that.
I will try, but I'm sure that it's not going to pan out as well as it is in the cookbook.
Oh, geez. Just follow the recipe. See, but the thing I say stuff like that, but then my husband makes fun of me because most of the time I'll be like, "Man, I don't know why this didn't turn out the way I thought it would." And he's like, "Did you follow the recipe?" And I'm like, "Well, no, but I did this, but I did
I did
XYZ."
work. I
And
worked hard
it
for
should have
this.
been fine, okay? And he's like, "Yeah, well, but you didn't actually." And I'm like, "Just stop." So
Thank
if
you.
you
Maybe
follow the
you
recipe,
should
it
follow
should
the
work.
recipe next time.
I know, right? Yeah. So what cookbook did you bring? Like, what did
Um,
you choose to share?
so I was at Sam's Club and there was one on sale. So like everybody else brought like heartfelt ones, but my dirty secret is that I just got it on sale at Sam's Club. But I do have it was a Ree Drummond cookbook, and I do have another Ree
Oh,
Drummond cookbook that I really liked, and so I
her
was like,
recipes are
oh,
good.
Ree Drummond, it's good, and it's on sale at Sam's Club, so that's the one I'm gonna get. And
That sounds great.
everybody else brought really thoughtful cookbooks that like helped them get through hard
Hard
times,
times. Oh,
or
jeez.
like, and I was like, oh gosh, well
Everyone's, like, telling their sob story, and you're like, "I found this on sale at
at
Sam's."
Sam's Club.
I love that.
I just didn't say anything. I didn't even tell anybody who mine was or anything like that. But it was like a quick easy meals under 30 minutes or something like that, and it got given to like a person who's like just about to graduate college. So I was like, oh, that's actually perfect. So
Perfect.
I'm just not going to say anything, and they seemed
No.
really happy to get the one that they got.
You know, that ended up in the right place. That
Yeah.
was that was what was meant to happen. It was meant to
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And her recipes are good. Like, they always
Hmm.
taste good. They're
Yeah.
easy. I
Yeah.
like her stuff.
I had one other addition that was different, but they're like the red beans and rice.
Mhm.
Especially, I think I even maybe it was like an instant pot recipe or something.
I love
Like
those.
even one further, and I
Yeah.
use that recipe all the time. But
Nice.
I think the book is still in storage because I moved from a bigger house to a smaller house, and still
Ugh.
so half of my stuff is still in storage, and I'm like, well, I'll go get it eventually. But
Yeah,
then
eventually.
yeah, because Colton and I watch storage unit like videos on YouTube
Oh, yeah.
sometimes, where
Yeah.
the guy goes through the storage unit and sees how much money he can make on it.
Oh.
And I asked Colton, I was like, how much do you think our storage unit would go for? And he's like, I don't know, probably a couple $1,000s.
Is that low, like, for the show?
Well, actually, sometimes most of the ones that we watch are like $500 or less units,
Oh,
but
okay.
those units are like they're like two like skinny, smaller
Small,
units than
small.
that.
Oh, okay. And yours is bigger, so of
Mm-hmm.
course, a couple $1,000s.
Mm-hmm.
My, I had a friend one who worked for a storage unit, like a mobile storage unit facility,
Mm-hmm.
and they would have people, like, uh, default on their payments
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And after they had done, like, the whole legal process, like, "Okay, we've tried to contact you. We've told you all these things. We've told you to get your stuff," and, like, people would just leave it. And
Mm-hmm.
so because we were friends, she's like, "I have to get rid of all this stuff, and we just have to give it away. So do you wanna come look through storage units and pick free stuff?"
Nice. That's
It
the
was
kind of friend to
really
have.
cool. Yes. And I found I'm trying to remember. I found some really cool, end tables, like sofa side tables. They were, like, mid-century,
Ooh.
small. They were really cool. I gave those away when I moved. I moved, like, halfway across the country,
Yeah.
like, a couple of years ago too, so got rid of a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
I like get it in my head that I want to have like enough, like least enough stuff that it could just fit in one U-Haul and
yeah,
we could just move across the country at any time.
yeah,
I can't do that.
yeah. That's my that's my goal too because moving is so expensive,
Yeah.
and, uh, we yeah, I sold a lot, I got rid of a lot, this last time, but,
It's still
ugh.
Colton did too. Like that, I came out here first and then he stayed behind and sold
Yeah,
and donated. Like it feels like half the house. Like I'll be like, hey,
yeah,
what happened? Do we still have an air fryer?
yeah, do we still have that thing?
And he's like, I can't remember if I don't like it's seriously every time I ask him, like, do we still have that thing? He's like, I think I donated it. Like
I don't remember.
I don't know. So it's like
Yeah,
obviously it's not that big of a deal, but um
yeah,
like
but still.
but still.
I need to know if I need to repurchase this or dig for this. Like, it's a
Yes.
different experience.
Yes. Yes.
Am I going to Walmart or am I going to the storage unit?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Walmart of storage unit.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. Yeah, storage units. I sometimes whenever I drive past them, I, like, wonder what's inside and, like, what are people keeping
Yeah.
in there, and
Well,
hopefully.
I think Colton thought that ours would go for a lot because one of the things that I hate with moving and I like
Mhm.
I was very intentional about this because I watched three of my older sisters move away and then their boxes get moved from place to place and then um like get disorganized and fall apart and stuff. So
Yep.
I was like, I will never be that way. And so every time I've moved, I've just like bought as many totes as I needed and organized everything and like labeled it perfectly. And I
Yes.
know that I packed this on this day. Do I remember everything in there? No, but I remember it's craft room stuff. Um,
So you get a general idea.
yes. And
Yeah.
so our entire storage unit, like I was like, we will make the investment of totes and not boxes.
That's so smart.
So that Colton was like, he would take one look at our unit and see that everything is totes, and he would be like, "Oh, that's nice stuff."
Well, and even, like, if you're selling stuff, you're like, "Man, I can sell just the totes themselves for
Yeah, right.
a bunch of money."
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's actually been so helpful because I'm usually I that's one of the things like if I'm your friend in real life, like please call me to ask you to help for move because like I have so many totes that I can bring for moving day. Number one. Number two, I'm really strong. And number three, me and Colton, like we have this like supernatural ability to like read each other's minds and like on moving day it's like we know exactly what needs to get done and like before you know it like it's just like a magical feeling. So if you ever need help
That's
moving,
awesome.
like please let me know because I love to go help people move because like me it's like a magical feeling that I get to feel like I can read my husband's mind for once.
That for once. That's really cool. It's like you get to exercise this talent that, like, how often do you get to do that? Like, you're
Yeah.
really good at it.
I'm really good at it. And well, I think it's because growing up, At church, we were the family that my stepdad, he knew how to pack people's, because he's like got
Yeah.
this like engineering brain that he can
Oh,
pack a storage unit or a moving truck like so much better than anybody else. So
yeah.
everybody knew to call him to pack the storage unit, and then he would just bring me too. And so I would see, and we lived in like a
Yeah.
military area, so we
Where
were
everyone was moving.
constantly
Yeah.
helping people move. So I like developed this skill, and then Colton also just like had a life that developed the moving skill
Yeah.
too. And so now
Yeah.
I'm just, we're just like match
You're
made in
pros.
heaven for moving.
Yeah.
So
That's
please,
awesome.
if you're my friend, call me on moving day. I
I will be
actually
calling
do want
you
to
next
help.
time. I will be calling you next time. I've had a couple friends move recently and I'm I feel like I'm pretty good at packing and moving just because I've had to do it so often, like in the last, 10, 12 years.
Because
But
I can't keep track. You've moved enough times that I can't keep track of where you are. So I forget that we're like 3 hours apart.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we've moved my husband's job, it was contract based for a long time, so when a contract would run out, we would have to just look for the next job and
That makes it sound like he's
um
in the CIA.
no. He he makes movies, like kid movies. He works in animation,
That's pretty cool.
which is pretty cool. It sounds a lot cooler than it is, but it's still really cool. Um yeah, so we've moved a few times because it is kind of contract based. The last place we were at for like we were there for like 6 years, so that was pretty good. That's the
Mhm,
longest we've been somewhere. And now he just works remotely for like a software company instead of working on movies, and
mhm.
that's a lot more stable. So we can live anywhere we want and he works from home
With
and
all
it's
the
great.
content creation and stuff like that, you'd think that there'd be a huge market for work from home from stuff like that for
Yeah.
those kinds of contractors.
Well, but there's like intellectual property issues.
Mhm.
So COVID was the first time that movie studios let people work from home regularly because they had no other choice.
Interesting.
But they spent years just being like, "No, we can't do it. It's too complicated. You could never work from home." And then COVID hit, they shut down the main office, and then they're like, within a week, they're like, "Okay, cool, here you go.
You're gonna
This
do
is your
this forever now.
authorization. This is how." Yeah, like we suddenly figured it out. um,
Funny how you
so they,
needed motivation
yeah,
for that.
there are some people we know that work remotely for certain movie studios, but it's pretty rare. Um, with software stuff, it's easy because you're just programming and
Mhm,
doing whatever Zoom meetings because all the meetings are on Zoom now,
mhm. Yeah,
or Google Meet or Microsoft, whatever.
yeah. There's plenty to
So
be done.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, so I've moved a few times, and so I feel like I'm pretty good, and I like helping people move too, just because I also feel like I'm really calm under pressure.
Yeah.
So when something's really stressful, I stay really calm.
Mhm,
And I had two good friends move recently, and they had stressful moves, and I wanted to like help them more. And so I'm something else that's been going on in my life is I'm pregnant with my fourth baby, which
mhm.
is very exciting. But
Yay!
it's very exciting, but I get hyperemesis gravidarum when I'm pregnant, which is just like extreme morning sickness.
Mhm.
Um, and so I can't do as much. And so I was luckily by the time these friends moved, I was able like one of them, I got to go over like one day and help a little bit and kind of just help her figure out what she needed to do. I felt like that was more like emotional support
Mhm.
than anything. She told me it was helpful, so I don't know. But then the whole next day I was like, wow, I am wiped out. And I was like in bed the whole day and felt really sick and it was dumb. But
Yikes.
yeah, and the other friend, the other cool thing about me is my sister lives like 5 minutes away from me, and I'm really close with my sister, and
Mhm.
so she knew this friend too, and she was like, "Okay, how about I go over and help her pack and clean this day, and you just, like, watch my kid and her kids." And
Mhm.
I was like, "I can do that, like, that's easy. I can sit on my couch and supervise some toddler. I can't pack boxes for you right now," but anyway, so yeah, it's just I like helping people move too, but it's weird whenever you're in a phase of life where you can't physically do all the things you're used to doing,
Mhm.
you know? I
Yeah.
don't know if you've ever experienced that,
Yeah.
but yeah, happens to everybody in different ways, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a good check to, like, make sure
Th
for me that I'm not, like, basing my worth on what I accomplish.
Yeah,
Like, my
that's
worth
a
as a
huge deal.
person. Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Good job.
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I have a hyperemesis tip that I know that you probably already thought of this, but
I'm
a,
always
a lot of
what
people
I
don't
always
think
wanna
of
hear
it.
more.
But you can go. I don't know how big the area you live in is, or what kind of services you have offered, but it's get growing more and more popular for those IV places that you can just go and
Oh,
pay for an IV,
yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they sometimes they'll have that one med that is escaping me that helps with vomiting.
Zofran.
Zofran.
Mhm.
They'll have
Yeah,
Zofran in the
that's the
bags.
one.
And
In
you
the
can just
IV,
buy
yes.
it for $100 or whatever.
Oh, that's nice.
Um,
I
and it might help.
Yeah. So I did get to go get IV treatments this time.
Mhm.
This is my first pregnancy they've diagnosed me with it
Mhm.
because I'm more on the mild end. It's like a spectrum, like most diseases or diagnoses. And I'm on the mild end of things. I know personally, like I have 4 or more personal friends that like get sicker than me. And so
Mhm.
I know it can be worse. But because it's so mild, like no one's officially diagnosed it before, but this doctor that I have is really proactive
Mhm.
and I can text her like at the office, which is really nice.
Wow, that's
And so
unusual.
yeah. And so I texted her one day and was asking her about the other great thing about Zofran, it keeps you from puking, but it makes you really constipated,
Oh, man.
which makes which makes nausea worse.
Yeah,
So I
especially
was
for
talking to
pregnant
her
people.
yes. So this was a couple months ago when I was really sick and I was asking her about what I could do for the constipation. And she was like, well, you could do this and then you could take fiber supplements. And I was like, but I'm not drinking enough water to take fiber. Like you have to drink water for fiber supplements to work.
Mhm.
And so she went, wait, how much are you drinking? And I told her. And at this point, it was like 8 ounces a day.
Oh, no.
And she was like, all right, I'm putting in orders. You can go to this hospital and get IV fluids whenever you need them, like up to,
Oh, that's awesome.
I can't remember. It was up to 3 times a week, I think. I didn't need it that often. And I just went basically like once a week for a month. And it was super, super helpful. And they did have Zofran in the bags too, which was helpful, but I hate IVs so much that
I
once it hit the point where, like, the help was not greater than, like, my hatred of being there and sitting there for an hour, I stopped.
Yeah, I totally
But
understand. Well, because did you
yeah.
listen to, this week's episode when I talked about my, irrational fear of the circulatory system?
No, I haven't gotten to that one. I binged almost all the other episodes this week, but I missed that one. You have a fear of the circulatory system?
Yeah, I have an irrational fear of the circulatory system. Um,
Okay.
and so I talk about why and stuff in the other episode,
Yeah,
but
I'm
it
excited to
comes from
listen.
like a childhood. Um, it took me. I didn't know this for a long time. I didn't connect the dots, but it comes from like a childhood experience that I had
Got
with
it.
an IV. Um,
Got it. Yeah,
and
mine is okay, I haven't listened to the episode, so I don't know if it's the sa I'm sorry for I just interrupted you. Anyway,
you're fine.
I had, open heart surgery when I was, like, 8, and
Wow.
I have hated getting blood drawn or having IVs placed or any needles in my arm things ever since then.
Well, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
That's definitely a traumatic experience, but mine was,
Yeah.
my dad was sick and he
Oh.
had an IV that he
Oh.
had to have at home,
Oh.
and, I'm gonna just freak people out again, so sorry, but
I'm sorry for making you tell this again and making everyone hear it twice in a row.
you're fine. Um, so, he had a van that didn't have power steering, and so
Mm.
his IV, when he would turn his van, would have blood come up it,
Yeah.
and so, that experience Was a lot less
No,
terrifying than yours, but
I
it
still would
it
have.
scarred my psyche, and I have an irrational fear of things touching the inside of my arm and the circulatory
Uh-huh.
system.
Yes, yes, it's yeah, no one can touch the inside of my arm, and the yes, that would have done the same thing to me, though. I don't My mom had a home IV. Oh, I must have been 9, like,
Hmm.
'cause it was when she was pregnant with my little sister, and she's 10 years younger than me, so but I, like, don't remember it. I remember, like, the pole and the bag, but I don't know if I, like, got close enough to, like,
Uh-uh.
give her a hug or anything at that point, like, I don't know, she was so sick.
Yeah,
But, yeah. Anyway, yeah, hate IVs, they're not fun.
yeah, not
I don't know
fun.
if they have any of those boutique IV places, but I do have a friend in a different state who's also pregnant right now, and she's one of my friends that gets a lot sicker than me, and their insurance is crappy, so that, like, going to the hospital would have been really expensive, so she went to, like, the boutique IV hydration
Totally.
place, and
Well,
that's, like, so smart.
yes, my insurance doesn't cover it either, and like I hate to admit this, but one time I had to call in sick to work because my period was so bad,
Oh,
that
I
like
understand that.
I had lost so much blood, like so much that I was scared.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I don't think I can go to work. So I called out of work and then I went to one of those IV places, and that was like the only time that I've been able to like handle having an IV, because
Yeah.
I was like, I've lost so much blood that I'm scared that if I
Yeah, you
don't
have
do
to, like,
this.
be at that point where you're like, "I might die, so
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
this is the answer."
But I hate admitting that, because I was like, "Oh, I called out of work because of my period," but, like,
No, I have
no, it
been
was
there.
so bad.
Yeah, I have I haven't had that exact thing, like, where I lose so much blood, but I had a period this summer that was my cramps were so bad, like, I couldn't move, and, like, even after taking, uh Aleve, naproxen,
Yeah,
whatever that thing is, yeah.
yeah.
I I always take that because nothing else will knock out the cramps, but this one, like, I took it and nothing it's like I did
Ugh.
so I was in bed for a whole day and I felt so gross,
Yeah.
and I was like, I now I understand my friends who are like, "My cramps were so bad." I'm like, "They really can get that bad."
Yeah, they're horrible
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yes.
I guess they were bad enough that you decided to get pregnant instead.
I know, right? Instead of dealing with it anymore. Like, I don't wanna do that again.
That was too
So
hard.
let's
Let's
be
just have a
sick for
baby.
3 months instead. Yeah. Yeah. No. Oh, jeez. Yeah.
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 Anyway, so
Just
that
having a uterus is not fun
yeah,
with
having a
her.
uterus is very complicated.
Yeah.
I should send you some of my tea though, because it will. You've heard the episodes where I talk
Yes.
about tea
I've heard
before,
about your
right?
tea. I wanted to ask you if it was, like, good because I know it's, like, good for
Yeah.
menstruation and stuff, but I was like, "What
Hmm.
about pregnant
It absolutely
uteruses?"
is. Because one of the things in it is red raspberry leaf, which everybody
Oh,
knows
yeah.
that's good for your uterus. But
Yeah.
what it does is it tones your smooth muscles. So it's like your uterus is a smooth muscle, your heart is a
Yeah.
smooth muscle, your liver. It's good for all kinds of things. But
Ooh.
especially when for people who have uteruses and need help with their uteruses,
Yes.
and a baby counts for that. So
Yes. Ah, yes, send me some. I would love to try it. I have a confession. I hate tea, but I do drink it medicinally. If it's a
well,
medicine, I will drink it.
I promise you, even if you don't like tea, like you'll probably like this one,
Okay,
because
I will report back.
almost everybody I know who says that they hate tea and they drink mine, they're like, "Oh, maybe I like tea."
Maybe I like it. Okay, I will suspend judgment until I've tasted it myself.
And every person I know that has tried it for one female issue or another has come back and said, "Please give me more." Like
Oh,
it
that's
helps so
awesome.
much.
That is awesome. You need to yeah, send me some, and then
Mhm.
you need to, like oh, it's probably complicated to, like, figure out how to sell it
Yeah.
because
That in
you yeah.
general, like with the podcast, I'm like, well, I don't want to like with
Yeah,
the merch and merch or tea or whatever. Like, it's so much more complicated if I sell it. Please just let me give it
Yes.
to you.
Please just let it be a gift because then I don't have to do,
I don't have to do
even just
taxes if I just give it to you.
taxes or even just, like, because I like to bake, I've looked into a few different times, like, there's things called cottage food laws
Mhm,
in different states for, like, what you can make in your house and then sell to other people outside your home,
mhm.
um, and in some states, they're really strict.
Yeah. Uh,
And I don't know how dried herbs would fit into that, but also, like, yeah, you don't want that responsibility either of, like, someone didn't like it or it went
yeah,
wrong, like, I don't
yes,
know, it
and
was a gift. You didn't pay for it.
yeah, it's you can just have it, and if it helps you, I'm grateful.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So
okay.
you had so much birthday stuff planned. Let's talk about the 1-year anniversary
Oh, yeah.
birthday stuff.
Yes. Birthday of your podcast.
Yes,
So
happy
exciting.
birthday to Saturday Night Sleepover.
Woohoo. I can't believe it's been a year. It feels like I just started listening to you.
Yeah, I kind of feels like I just started doing it. Like I have not remained consistent with a hobby for this long. So go me.
Yeah. Go you. I'm really impressed. I also don't remain consistent with hobbies. So I am impressed on your behalf.
I honestly think it's the people that text me and tell me like how like they love the episode and stuff. So please continue
Aw.
the affirmations because it helps me remain consistent.
Oh, good. Okay, because every time I text Charlie about her podcast, what feels to me an excessive amount.
Not at all.
She
I
never
love
seems
it.
annoyed. And also because it's Charlie, I'm like, if it was another person, I might like hold back, but I'm like, it's Charlie. She doesn't care.
True. Absolutely true.
Yeah. Ugh. So for the birthday thing, did you want to do
Uh well,
the
I
game you talked about earlier
Oh
or
yeah,
the
we can do that first
yeah?
and then do you have your list pulled up because I can't get out of the
Yes.
app without
Oh,
ending the
yes, yes,
session.
I have the list pulled up. Okay,
Okay.
I could quiz you with birthday question do you want me to talk about the list?
Yeah, talk about the list.
Okay, so I came up with a list because Charlie was like, "What should we do for the birthday of the podcast?" And I thought of, MySpace bulletin surveys from back in the,
Early
you know,
2000s.
early years of the internet. Because they were my favorite thing, especially if
Mhm.
they had, like, 150 questions, I'd be like, "Yes, I will tell you what time I woke up today and what I ate for breakfast." So I
Everyone
was like,
must know.
everyone wants to know. No one read those things.
Mhm. But
Even your
guess
best
what?
friend, you're like, "I love you. I'm not reading this whole thing."
Guess what? I have a
Um,
captive audience,
yeah.
and they're
And my
going to listen.
bulletins. Um, so I thought it would be really fun to make up kind of like a MySpace quiz, but with questions about birthdays.
Mhm. Let's do it.
So, okay. Do you want me to just pick a few and ask you?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay. What is your preferred birthday treat?
Brownies
Brownies? Ooh, nice. I think mine is pie.
or cheesecake. I like cheesecake too.
Ooh, delicious, but
Pie,
not regular cake.
pie, I hit or miss me on like I have a hard time with hot fruit.
Hot fruit. I get it, but it just sounds really funny. Okay. But what about like a chilled like I'm actually currently I'm actually eating while we're talking. My sister I had dinner at my sister's house and she sent me home with a slice of like French silk pie, like the Marie
Mm,
Callender's chocolate
okay.
pie.
Yeah. Yeah, I
What
like
do you
those.
how do you feel about those
I
kind of
like
things?
those better if it
Mm,
doesn't
okay.
involve hot fruit. The hot fruit thing that I like though is apple crumble
Ooh, yes.
with the
Apple
oatmeal
crumble
on
with
top.
oatmeal on top. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good stuff. Good
Mhm.
stuff. What is a favorite birthday memory that you have?
I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but it was the inception of the collection of introverts. So for
Oh,
my
yeah.
30th birthday, all of my friends, who are all mostly, not all, but mostly introverts, they all figured out each other's phone numbers and planned a surprise birthday party for me. And then I got there and they were like, we're all introverts and we all like each other. So we decided we're going to call you or call ourselves um, the Charlie's collection of introverts. And so that's probably my favorite
Oh,
birthday
I
memory.
love that. I love that because it's all your friends.
Mhm.
Oh, um, do you like surprises for parties or gifts?
Yes, I
For
love
one and not the other?
surprises.
For all of them? For both of them?
For all, yes.
For all.
I often Colton, he'll be like, "Do you want a drink from the fridge?" And I'll be like, "Yeah." And he'll be like, "What do you want?" I'll be like, "I don't know, surprise me." Or if we go to the gas station, he'll be like, "Do you want a snack?" And I'll be like, "Yeah,
Surprise me.
surprise me."
Oh, I love that. I like surprises too, but I feel like I spoil them for myself all the time. Like I can like figure out
I can figure out too, so I have to intentionally
I have to
not.
try really hard not to.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it
And
makes me mad at myself when I figure it out.
I will tell you the exposure to more quantity of surprises. So, like the gas station example,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
helped me to like not question things and figure like it's gotten me in the
Yeah.
habit of being surprised.
You can like turn your brain off
Hmm.
and just be
And
surprised.
really, I like Cole knows what snacks I like, and I like almost everything at the gas station. So,
Yeah, it's good stuff in there.
yeah.
I'm not lying.
So you almost can't go wrong.
No, you really can't. Oh, that's fun. That's a good way to think about it.
Hmm.
Um, okay. What is the weirdest or strangest gift that you've received?
Oh gosh.
It could be for a birthday, but it could be just if there was another weird gift.
I'm trying to think of like the first thing. Oh, like I guess so if you live in Utah you at one point identified as Mormon, you understand that sometimes people will just show up out at your house sometimes and have random things.
Yes.
And one time I just remember there was like a bag full of random oranges and they just
What?
like uh thanks for being the fruit of the earth or something like that. Like they had
Huh.
this like random. I just remember one time they like showed up at my doorstep and gave me oranges, and I was like, "Thank you.
Huh.
Um, this is
That's very
great."
that's very random.
Yes. So that was the first thing that came to my mind.
I've had someone show up on my doorstep with oranges before, but, it was when I lived in California, and it was like, people would take
Oh,
the extras from the fields and then sell them,
mhm.
so I bought a giant, like, 10-pound bag of navel oranges. They're like the
Nice.
size of a small child. Yeah.
Colton's grandma's neighbor has a lemon tree, and they
Oh,
are gigantic, like the size of regular oranges for lemons.
wow.
And I love them. Every time we go and it's the season, I take home a box and then I just juice them and put them in ice trays. And then I have
Yeah,
lemon
and
juice
it's fresh
forever.
lemon juice all
Hmm.
year.
Hmm.
Oh, that's so smart. I love
Hmm.
that. I can't think of a weird gift I got for my I did. Okay, this is it's kind of a sad story, but it's kind of funny. I think it's funny. Um, for Christmas one year, so my mom's parents were not like I don't have contact with them anymore. She didn't grow up in a great family, but one year for Christmas, my grandma sent us all albums of like baby pictures. It was in like they're printed out photos in like little albums, like for each kid,
Hmm.
whatever she had. And I was like, "Wow, cool, baby pictures for myself." And then my mom was looking at it, she goes, "These are all the pictures I sent her." Like, they had my mom's handwriting on the back, and she just mailed them back, like,
That's
but
hard.
yeah, but as a gift, like, I don't understand, but it
Well, I
makes me
mean,
laugh.
interesting.
It was weird. I feel like we got a lot of weird gifts though, because she, like, didn't know us very well, and, like, the grandparents that just don't know you very well,
Hmm.
they send you weird stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
probably not always the baby photos that your mom has
You,
sent them
yeah, probably
your whole
not.
life. Probably not. Uh,
That is weird. Weirder than mine, I would say.
sorry. Um, oh, this was a favorite question of mine to think about. I don't know if I have an answer to it, but, what is your favorite store rewards program birthday bonus? Like, certain stores you sign up for the rewards, you put your birthday, and then they,
Hmm.
like, send you a coupon for your birthday
Yeah.
month. What's your favorite one?
I think well, I don't shop at this store very often, but because sometimes it gives me a lot of anxiety. But Ulta, if you go there
Oh,
on your birthday, they
yes.
always have like a monthly birthday gift.
Yes.
But every sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes I walk into Ulta and it's like the most peaceful place ever, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get everything that I want to get for the whole year. And then
Yeah.
sometimes I walk in there and I'm like, oh, this is too much. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Somebody help me.
It can be
Like,
really overwhelming in there.
yeah.
Especially when they move stuff. I feel like I stop by there are a lot of Ultas where I live,
hmm
and, so I feel like I stop by kind of frequently because they have, like, better prices on some things, and they just
hmm
have certain things that other stores don't. But, then they'll move stuff, and then I'm like, "I can't find anything in this maze of a store
hmm
that" and I have, like, a fragrance sensitivity, like, I get headaches,
Oh.
and so I walk in,
Uh-oh.
and sometimes it's just too strong, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't be in here."
The thing for me is like it's not clear how much things are. And then
Yeah.
I like decide like it takes me forever to decide what kind of product I want.
Yeah.
And then when I decide what I want, I like think, okay, what does this one cost? And then I'm like, I can't even find the price. This is
Yeah.
overwhelming.
The labels are not yeah, they're not very clear.
That's one that will get me that's the thing
Yeah.
that will get me the fastest at Ulta, and
Yeah.
many of times I've sat in an Ulta parking lot crying because I'm like,
Oh,
I
Charlie.
can't do it."
I'm so sorry for you.
It's
Oh.
okay. I'm
Um,
just a weirdo.
some stores are overwhelming, though. I feel like I have to talk myself into going if I'm just, like, on a regular grungy day and I have no makeup on,
Yeah, oh
'cause I
gosh,
never wear makeup,
that
and I walk in and all the employees look so nice, and I'm like, "I don't belong here."
that gets me too. That's another thing that'll get
Yeah,
me real quick there. I'm like, "Oh, I don't belong here. I may
yeah,
have made a mistake."
yeah, but I just talk to my I'm like, "You belong here just like anyone else belongs here. Anyone is allowed in this store, and they're going to be nice to you anyway." I'm like, "Okay."
Mhm.
And I live in the Midwest, so it's generally true.
Yeah,
People are
generally
nice.
people are nice.
Yeah.
That's the birthday rewards, but in general, my favorite
Yeah,
rewards program is Torrid, which I think
yeah,
we recently connected on
yes,
Instagram about a post that
you
I
were
made
telling me about it.
because okay, so I got influenced by a social media influencer. She said, "Look at this nice outfit I put together," and then look like to know or whatever. So then I like went and figured out where she got it from, and she'd gotten it from Torrid. And the one
Ooh,
pants she was advertising were 79.90, so like 80
jeez.
bucks.
Ugh.
But then if you went to the like, they were white, but then if you went to the cream and the pink option, they were like $19 or $15,
Ooh.
something like that.
What?
Yeah. And
That's like a
so
Kohl's discount. That's
yeah.
crazy.
So it was like on clearance because they were like out of style color, but like
Yeah.
I don't care about that.
Yeah.
And so I got both of those pants and put them in my cart. So then it was like $15. It was like 15.75 or something each. So it was like 30 bucks in the cart. And I had a $20 reward. So I got two pairs of pants for $10.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was
And they're
amazing.
nice
So
pants. They're $80 pants.
they're $80 pants for $5 basically.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. I love it.
Um, yes, so Torrid has the best rewards program. If you want to sponsor me, Torrid, I deserve it.
Torrid should sponsor the
I
podcast.
I spend it.
Charlie will model all of
I
your
will not
clothing
close.
and post all about them.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. I love a good deal. I love
Yes.
a good rewards program and a good deal. Um, let's see. I'll just pick a couple of the last question. I came up with a lot of questions, guys, but
Yeah, there's a huge list.
I don't want to subject everyone to all of them.
I'm not complaining. I liked it.
They're fun. It was so fun. Okay. I have a story about this too. But I'm gonna ask you first. What is the best grown-up birthday party you have hosted or attended?
Oh,
So it
that
doesn't have to
one.
be your own.
The birthday party, the
The
introvert birthday
introvert
party.
one.
Mhm.
Yay!
Yay.
Um,
What's your
mine
answer?
mine was so this year my sister who lives here, she turned 30
Mhm.
and she wanted a dirty 30 party,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't drink. So we came
Plus,
up
you
with
were
a
probably
ton of
pregnant.
no, this was in March.
Oh,
So
good.
I wasn't. But so we came up with a bunch of mocktails, and it was
Mm-hmm.
very, very fun.
Mm-hmm.
And she was also like, I don't want penises all over stuff. Like that seems crazy. But I'm texting you a picture right now. Can you
um,
check a picture right
I
now or can you not?
I will like slide down and see what happens if I slide it
Okay.
down instead of
I just sent a
going
picture
to the thing.
of the fruit tray. My sister made a fruit tray for her own party.
Mm-hmm.
That is not it is
It's a vagina.
yeah. Isn't it great?
Yes, I love it.
It's a great use of thinly sliced cantaloupe in the
Yes.
center to paint
Mm-hmm.
a picture for
Great job.
readers.
Great job.
It's an on it. She has a perfect oval shaped platter.
Yes. You did a
Anyway,
great
so
job.
we had that and little like guys in speedos that like hung on glasses
Oh, okay.
and a bunch of
Classy.
mocktails. It was very classy, but it was at my house and we decorated all cute and like had a bunch of close friends over and just basically a girl talk like the whole morning. We had brunch and no kids around and it was
Hmm.
really fun. It was really fun.
Yay.
Yeah.
So basically a
But the
Saturday
fruit
night
tray was the part
sleepover,
of the
but
show.
a birthday.
Yes. Yeah. And with a vagina fruit tray.
Mhm. We're still manifesting the in real life Saturday night
Yes.
sleepover. That's still a thing that is I'm hoping for one day.
I agree. I would be there, especially if I can help plan a brunch the next
Yes.
day because
Please.
brunch is my favorite.
Brunch just makes you feel so fancy, but really it's that you
Fun.
got to sleep in and then you're eating food too late.
Yeah. And I love breakfast food. So anything that extends the time of day in which I am when which breakfast food is available to me,
Mhm.
that is a good thing in my book. Okay. Let's do one more question, maybe. Do you want to do a question about the podcast instead of I came up
Sure.
with some questions to ask you about your podcast.
Do it.
What are you excited about for the future of the Saturday Night Sleepover podcast?
Well, one day I hope to have a actual in real life sleepover. So putting that together and planning that sounds like a lot of fun to me. And then just like being able to hang out with everybody that listens and knows and stuff, that sounds like a lot of fun. So that's one thing that I'm excited about. And then just like getting to like another thing that's really exciting about the podcast for me is like it is my chance to just sit down and have a conversation with somebody and talk about random things and learn other things about other people and then have a chance for people to hear my fun stories. So those are things that excite me about the podcast.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love your podcast. I'm so glad you started it. And I'm really happy that you needed someone to talk to this week and took me up on my offer. I'm very excited to be
Well, I'm glad that we got a chance to connect to. This is really fun.
Yeah. Very fun.
Should we play our game and then is there anything else you wanted to talk about that you didn't get to talk about?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm just riding the wave of wherever this conversation's going.
That's how we do it here.
That's how it goes. That's
My one idea to add to the list of a million things that Rachel came up with was we should play Two Truths and a Lie. So I have mine ready. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay. So statement number 1 is that I have 20 years experience as a professional photographer.
Ooh.
Statement number 2 is that I didn't get my driver's license until I was 17.
Okay.
And statement number 3 is that I have only worn glasses since I was 18.
Oh, geez. You went tricky with these.
I know, because I put them all numbers.
Really close to the truth. They're like true except for the number. I feel like the driver's license one is a lie because I think you got your license when you were younger than 17.
You are correct. That was my
Woo-hoo-hoo!
lie.
So you have 20 years experience as a photographer?
Yeah, professional experience. I got my first job as a professional photographer when I was 12. I was shooting weddings at that time, and I
Oh
also
my
was
gosh.
shooting for the local newspaper.
You were shooting weddings as a 12-year-old?
Yeah, isn't that wild?
What? That is wild. I love that.
Yeah.
I kinda would have loved to have a 12-year-old be my photographer for my wedding.
Isn't that great?
That's
Who
amazing.
does
I
that?
love
I
that.
don't know, but yes,
Someone paid you to do it.
I have been paid to be a photographer since I was 12. And I
That's
am now
awesome.
32, so I have 20 years.
Way to go.
Yeah,
Way to go.
thank you.
And so then you did get your license when you were younger.
Yeah, I got my
You were
license when I was 16. But
okay.
I did have a driving instructor that kept me probably longer than I needed to be because
Oh.
I was mischievous.
Oh.
So my driving instructor was narcoleptic, and
What? That's the what?
yeah, I had a narcoleptic driving instructor. This is real. Anybody who
Oh,
went to high school with me knows it's real.
oh my god.
But
That sounds
so
so unsafe.
she would fall asleep, and then I would just like drive to McDonald's, and she'd wake up in
Wake
the
up in the
drive-thru, and I'd be like,
drive-thru.
"Hey, do you want anything?"
Oh my gosh.
So it wasn't technically against the rules, just she wasn't there to really tell me what to do. So
Dude, she wasn't there.
I mean, she was there.
What
She
else
was
is
just
she
asleep.
expecting you to do? But, like, what they're supposed to be, like, watching you on those drives.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe that was a poor career fit.
No, she's wonderful. Don't ever say that.
I
She
just
was
mean, like,
great.
because you got to go to McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, I also would like change the radio stations, and like I had all the presets set, and she would like constantly have it on just this one radio station, and then she'd fall asleep when I change it. Like I just do small mischievous things, and I
So
think
she was
she
like, "I don't know
secretly
if you can
liked
trust this
it,
girl."
but also she was like, I'm gonna punish her by like keeping her in longer. So I had to do driver's
Oh.
instructing. When most people had to do it for like 3 weeks or 3 months or 3 weeks or whatever it was, I had to do it for like 6 months.
Oops.
But it was a lot of fun.
She just wanted to bond with you more.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Totally.
Yeah. If you grew up where I grew up, like back me up. This lady truly, she's the best.
Yeah,
But
I need
also
to I
she's narcoleptic for real. But she's a
and, like
community gem. Like
and, like, I don't wanna laugh because narcolepsy is real and it's a frustrating problem.
yeah.
But but why but
She
why
had like
would
6
you choose to
jobs.
do that?
She had like 6
Okay.
jobs, and,
Okay.
she has looked exactly the same. Like, I could see her today, and she would look exactly the same as she did
Whoa.
20 years ago when I first became
Whoa.
acquainted with her. Like, she is, I don't know how she does it, but she wears the same exact outfit every day, and she
Oh my
also, like,
gosh.
has had the same exact haircut the entire time, and her skin has looked exactly the same. Like, she's,
That's
like, frozen
amazing.
in time.
Not a single wrinkle.
Not
That's
well,
a
oh, she
blessing.
she's always had wrinkles.
Oh, okay, got it. But they're the same ones.
They're the same ones. Yeah, she looks the exact same.
Okay. Wow.
But, people in my
That is a
hometown will know who I'm talking about.
okay. I I will need to ask you for more stories about her later. Sounds amazing.
Yes, yes, I will tell you all the stories.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway,
what's your 2 truths and a lie?
okay. Here is here are my statements. Um, my first statement is I was in high school marching band and played a different instrument every year in the
Mm,
marching band. Um, I have cooked and eaten wild squirrel,
okay.
and I have lived in every state that starts with a k sound. So California, Colorado, Kansas, Kentucky, Connecticut. I'm not counting the Carolinas because they
There's
started
north and
with a-
south.
There's north and south. It's not the k. Yeah. So those are my statements.
I think the band one.
That one's true.
Oh, okay. Every single year you change it. I was thinking you did one instrument for like the first 2 years or something. And then
No, I ended
changed.
up playing a different one. So I played clarinet and
Mhm.
then I switched to bass clarinet. And at that time, it was in the Midwest and our marching band was huge. And so we had a bass clarinet marching section where you
Wow.
marched those. Then I moved to Washington State and our marching band was tiny and they
Mhm.
needed more tenor saxophone players, and clarinet and tenor sax have the same fingerings. So I switched to that.
Okay.
And then my senior year, they had no one to play pit percussion, and I knew piano, so I could kind of play the xylophone, the marimba, like the big giant xylophone.
Wow.
So I became the pit percussion section leader, which
Wow.
meant I had like 3 guys who barely knew what they were doing, and I had to try to get them to listen and play the right things. But like
That's
they were
awesome.
pretty good. It was fun.
That's a dynamic skill set you
Yeah,
have there. Do you still play music?
not really. We've never owned a piano, so my piano skills are real bad.
Mhm.
Pianos are a pain to move. We've just
You
never
could get a
had.
keyboard though.
Yes, I have had a keyboard a couple different times, but like cheap ones. And
Mhm.
then someday I want like an electric piano, like the
Mhm.
in between a keyboard and a real anyway.
Mhm.
Um, and the other instruments I played are like not really like my clarinet. My little brother used it for a while and then it got old and broke.
Mhm.
And anyway, I have not played an instrument in a very long time, but
Hmm.
I can read music still.
That's nice.
And I sing sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So which one was your lie?
The States one, because
Ah.
I lived in Kentucky,
I should
but I
have
have
known it.
lived.
I should have known it. I thought that one was so specific. I was like, she can't be
Yeah,
lying about that. It's so specific.
that's my problem. That's my problem with, yeah, with this game. I stress about like
And I
how
knew
to,
about
yeah,
some of them. I was like, yeah, all those check out.
yeah,
I don't know about
yeah.
Kentucky, but I know all the other ones.
All the other ones, yeah, because it's a weird thing. But yeah, one year we lived in California, Colorado, and Connecticut all within the same calendar year.
Well, that was the year I got married, right? Because of
Yeah, that was the year I
Colorado.
got married. I was in
Hmm.
Colorado for like 2 months.
Hmm. Yeah, and
And
it
then
just happened
moved.
to be when I got married.
Yeah, yeah, and we're that was my parents are in Colorado now, so we were living with them while, like, on the way to the next job, which was
Hmm.
Connecticut, and now I live in Kansas.
Isn't
So,
it weird to think that your parents and my parents could potentially be at the same Walmart?
yeah, well, yeah, my parents go to the one in Monument.
Yeah.
Where is that the one your parents go to?
No, but I mean,
Okay.
maybe once, like they could go to the same Walmart, like
They could.
if they went to the same area for some
If they
reason or
did,
another.
yeah. They're basically in the same general area. Yes, it is weird. Yes, I
Hmm.
think about it sometimes. Uh,
Um. Anyway,
yeah.
so
So I have cooked and eaten a wild squirrel. That's the
yeah.
other thing that was
Well,
true.
I mean, you need to listen to last week's episode because that ties
Yes.
into last week's episode as well.
Okay.
Which I had to put like a graphic warning or whatever that the
I saw
last
that and I was like, interesting.
it talks about animal death. So if
Okay.
that makes you uncomfortable, but you have cooked and eaten a wild squirrel, so
Yeah, I
I
didn't kill
don't
it,
think it'll worry.
but I did cook it. Yeah. I got it from a friend. It was a weird they were moving and cleaning out their freezer.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that was the weirdest gift I've ever received.
That
Maybe
I would classify that maybe as your weirdest gift.
maybe that's the weirdest gift. I had frozen squirrel. My friend
Well,
from
that does tie into last week's episode, so
Okay.
check that
Okay.
out.
I'm going to. I'm going to. I got so close to catching all the way up.
It's
So
okay.
close.
You did well. I mean, you have been like on a
Yeah.
power binge.
Yep. Yes. I have been.
That's a lot of my voice.
It is. It is. But I was just so looking forward to this phone call so much that just had to like let my ears just enjoy your dulcet tone for an entire week.
Wow. That sounds very flattering.
I do like your voice. You have a great voice to listen to, and you have a great way of telling a story, and I love it.
Thank you. Well, on that note, while I'm feeling wonderful about myself, um,
As you should.
we should do this again sometime. I'll talk to you
Yes.
later.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Anytime.
Well, if the one question that I want to ask you that I normally ask everybody is, if you want to be found, where do you want people to find you? If you do not want to be found, what do you want people to find?
I don't want people to find me. I I just don't have a public social media presence. I don't have anything interesting on there. I hardly post. No one needs to find me. But the thing I want people to find is kind of like a pseudo hippie cold flu season thing.
Do it.
And I thought it's right up Charlie's alley. Are you
Mhm.
familiar with xylitol nasal spray?
Yeah.
Yeah, xylitol nasal spray. In case you're familiar, but in case listeners aren't, it's just like a nasal spray, like any other kind of thing. But xylitol is a type of sugar substitute
Mhm.
that I believe, again, I never finished my degree in biology, so my science information is not going to be very good. But the like structure of xylitol is different from other structures, like when it gets down to like the carbon chains and whatever in the molecular level. So
Mhm.
if the idea is that if you use a nasal spray containing xylitol, the xylitol will coat your nasal passages, and then flu and cold viruses and allergens and other things will not be able to adhere to your nasal
Mm.
passages because the xylitol like doesn't connect and bond with them the way that your mucous membranes would. So I use it every winter, and I swear when I remember to use it, I do not get sick. I do not catch my kids' colds. I do not.
That's
Yeah,
pretty impressive considering you have so many children
yes.
that are going out and getting all
That
of
are
the germs.
at public school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I swear it works. I swear it works. And I am kind of hippie about a lot of things, but I also like science. And so I'm like, okay, this sounds good. And I figured I'd try it because it doesn't hurt anything. It does kind of feel like you're snorting pool water the first time that you use it, but it goes away. You get used to it. Just FYI, in case you
So
try it.
if you prefer snorting pool water to getting sick, do it.
But who doesn't? I would rather.
Oh my gosh, that's
That's
so good.
that's the way my friend explained it. My neighbor was a dental hygienist, and and she's the one who recommended it to me because dentists will recommend xylitol a lot because it's in a lot of like toothpastes because it does the same
Mhm.
thing with your teeth. It like repels things from like sticking on your teeth and getting cavities.
Mhm.
Um, but that's how she described it. She's like, yeah, it kind of feels like you snort some chlorine at first, and I was like, what? Thanks for the warning. She's like, yeah, but just like blow your nose and do it again. You'll be fine. I'm like, okay.
Great, sounds awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
10
But
out of
it is,
10.
yeah. But xylitol is like toxic for dogs. So just make sure your pets don't like
Mm,
eat your
get
bottle
into
of
it.
spray. Yeah. Or your gum. It's in a lot of like sugar-free gum and stuff too. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily Doug doesn't eat anything that isn't his.
Good job, Doug.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Oh, I'm so proud.
Um anyway, snort pool water and don't get sick.
Yeah. That's the takeaway here. Go find that.
Okay, well, everybody, you can go to sleepoverpod.com and find out all of our merch requests and all kinds of stuff like that. Please let me give you free things in exchange for free promotion of our podcast. You have to tell everybody that how great we are, obviously.
I have I have one thing to say about
Go.
that.
Go.
Ever since I sent in, I was, like, all about, like, "Yeah, my friend Charlie has a podcast, you should listen to it, it's so great," and I was telling like, I'm involved in my kid's school a lot, and I was telling people, and then I sent in the embarrassing story that happened at my kid's school with a
Uh-huh.
teacher that works there, and I was like, "I can't tell anybody about this podcast because someone is going to listen and find out that's me." And
It's so far back, it doesn't matter anymore.
no one will find out now, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it's deep. It's deep. Nobody's making it back that far. It's fine.
I hope not. Well, if they are people that know me from my
If
kid's school, I hope not.
if they've made it back that far, I'm sure they think that the podcast is great, and they're like, "I'm so grateful for Rachel for providing this fun, wonderful resource for me." So they won't even think about
Good, good. They will not try to find out who that teacher is. Okay.
it.
Anyway, sorry for interrupting you. Promote Charlie's show.
No,
It's great.
yes, promote this show. We love it. Like, share, subscribe, and I think that's it.
Yay. Happy
Okay,
birthday.
yeah, happy birthday, happy 1 year anniversary. Thanks
Yeah.
everybody for sticking around this long. Okay, talk to you later. Love you,
Bye.
bye.
Love you. Bye.